the labor market
No, my second question was about the capacities of certain local and regional level into doing labor market analysis and trying to match. It's not just a matter of political will, but also capacities.
Oh well, I mean, you half answered your own question, but because I do think, you know, some local authorities are quite advanced in doing this sort of thing. I mean, there are a number of ESF-funded projects. I suspect there are a number of other projects and networks. The huge difficulty with Pinlevel and others is finding out who does this and then learning from what they've done. I mean, I don't think the Commission is that good at making the results of the projects available. I mean, they're often somewhere on a website. I mean, they're not hidden in a drawer, but the information revolution hasn't really made it that much easier to necessarily find what you need. I mean, you need to find people to push you towards it, but the sort of question you pose, you know, a local authority interested in developing its own ability to do some sort of skills forecasting or labour market forecasting, I mean, should be able to pose that question to some sort of national level, and I think the national level will be able to find other examples from other countries who do it. Can I answer the question posed by the Spanish gentleman? You know, what should be done to get universities to be more relevant for the world of business? You know, the longer term job mismatch. I think, you know, it's a multi-layer issue. Clearly, ministries of education or whoever controls how universities design their programs have a role to play. But I think, you know, we should all be a bit careful that universities do not have a narrow function of merely providing, you know, labour market fodder. I mean, universities are about educating people for life, not just educating people for a job. But that's not to say they shouldn't be making degree courses or research as useful to the world of work as possible. I remain convinced, though, that at a local level, better links between the university and the world of business and the local authorities can pay enormous dividends, not only to get courses to be more job relevant or students to be more aware of what jobs are available or businesses to be better attuned to what they can get out of universities, but as part of a bigger dynamic. I mean, and a well-affecting, you can either call it a skills ecosystem, if you want to sort of be technical, or a cluster, to use a rather old-fashioned word these days, can bring dividends well beyond simply getting a few more younger people into a job.
Happy with that? One thing I'd like to bring out is how can the European level learn from the local level? Because there really isn't this juncture in general with the European Union, particularly in some countries. And if we go all the way down to the local level, it's just really absent from thinking. I mean, one thing, I know Bernardo's somewhere back in the room, I did the study some time ago, and we found that with all the operational programs that had a higher level of implementation, they'd also had a higher level of consultation with the immediate local level when they were designed. So, and funnily enough, the ones that didn't consult were ignored handily. And I'd like to hear something about not just like a top-down thing, but what can be drawn from that local level to this level. We'll use in the question, how can you feed off the local level? What do you not know about it? Yeah.
Well, I can tell you that what you're convinced of is true, in the sense that the more in the face of formulation of programs we are able to involve our stakeholders, regional level, national level, but also the target groups, the more we are likely to have successful programs that are relevant to the needs of those who are benefiting from them. So in our experience, I can tell that in fact, we have this kind of systematic approach that in fact, we have a peculiarity in our programs in DG Education and Culture. We have, as I was mentioning before, national agencies established in each of the program participating countries. This is is probably a very peculiar management modality in the Commission as a whole, because either we have, in the Commission, we have programs managed at centralized level, very distant from citizens, to use a simple word. Or we have structural funds model that basically delegates completely with a lot of autonomy to regions and national authorities. So in our case, we have a mix. We have national agencies that in fact are European agencies in each country. They implement our programs in the same way, so they somehow, with some autonomy, of course, and according to specificities, but we are able to bring to realize proximity between European governance and then what is going at the level down. So we have meetings with national agencies. We have regular workshops in order to test ideas. We have meetings with representatives of organizations and young people in order to really see if what we have in mind fits with the real needs. And I think this approach is successful in the sense that the program is perceived. There is evidence to be a program that is known and that is considered in a positive way by those who apply and take part in it.
For me, it's easy to answer what I learned at the local level. It's less bureaucracy. And we should try to do it. And well, we are trying to do it for the new Erasmus for All program. So, but another experience is also that that at local level, often the people, they don't go to the first source of information about European affairs, which is at local level. Very often they immediately think of Brussels, of the Commission, and though somebody I can meet even face to face is at my region. So there are sometimes, because we cannot, with our mission budget of my unit, I rarely go to member states because it's so small. So I don't see you, so to say, where you are at home. Okay, when you come here, then we are happy to meet, and I'm frequently asked by our visitor service to come to hold a presentation to groups about my subject. Yeah, but I would say that one should first go to the first source of information at local, regional level. And they also have the information about the structural funds, meaning Regional Development Fund, European Social Fund, Agricultural Fund. Because there is the big money. In fact, the big money is not in Brussels, it's in the structural funds. There you can have lots of money, big projects, which can have a very good impact at regional level. But you have to inform yourself. So in the best case, of course, you have a super local regional administration who spreads the word. But as I have learned, it's not always the case, so you have to make an effort yourself.
I agree in the sense that those regions who make an effort and inform themselves about what's going on, they have also mobilized most of the money in entrepreneurship terms. And this is not only about the region, but for example, you have employers associations, you have trade unions, you have associations of certain types of producers. So anybody who's organized and has a certain